Hello again. So I'm using the law of cosines, and I have to use it on this particular triangle because I'm given all three sides and I'm not given an angle. There is one stipulation that you have to worry about. When you use the law of cosines and you're given all the sides of the triangle but you're not given the angle, you solve for the biggest angle first. It prevents the ambiguous case, as it were. So actually I've got to solve for A. That's a given. When I'm given all three sides, I've got to solve for A. So I'm going to use this formula. Enough said about that. So I do that. I'm going to use A squared, which is 15 squared, equals B squared, which is 81, plus 7 squared, which is 49, minus 2 times my B and C. 9 times 7 is 63, so 2 times, well, I'll just do 63 for now, times the cosine of A, which I don't happen to know. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure this out. 15 squared is 225. I went ahead and I did some of it anyways without thinking about it. That's a 0, that's 130. 130, yeah. Minus 2 times 63, which is 126. Cosine of A. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to figure out what the cosine of A is. So I'm going to subtract 130 on both sides. And I get 5, 9, 95 equals negative 126 cosine of A. What I'm going to do next is divide by negative 126 on both sides. So 95 divided by negative 126 comes out to negative 0.75. That's if I round it. So negative 0.75 equals cosine of A. If I want to figure out A, what I got to do is I got to take its inverse on both sides. Those cancel, and I'm left with the inverse cosine of negative 0.75. So the inverse cosine of negative 0.75, can't do that on the top of my head, is 138.5. So I'm going to say that's about 139 degrees. So A equals 139 degrees. Now what I can do is use the law of sines because it's a lot easier, and I would recommend that too. But in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase this. I leave many smudge marks while I'm at it. So I'm going to use the sine of A over A equals, and let's just do B because B is first. Sine of B over B. Let me go ahead and fill it in. Sine of 139 degrees over 15 equals sine of B, which I don't know, over 9. Cross multiply. When I do that, I get 9 times 130, sine of 139 degrees, times 9, equals sine of B times 15. But I'm going to divide by 15 on both sides to cancel that. And actually what I'm left with is this. So now what I got to do is I got to take the sine of 139 degrees, multiply by 9, divide by 15. And I'm going to do that without any rounding whatsoever. Well, I'm only going to round the answer. So sine 139 degrees. This is a perfect time for people to take out their own calculators to go ahead and try this. Multiply by 9 and divide by 15 is about 0.39. I'm just going to leave it as 0.39 equals sine of B. Now in order to get the B by itself, I've got to get rid of this sine. And how I do that is by taking the inverse sine of both sides. And what I do is I take the inverse sine of 0.39, which comes out to about 22.9. I'm going to say that's 23 degrees. You don't have to use the law of sines or the law of cosines afterwards. All you got to do is add them up and figure out what it is when you subtract by 180. 139 plus 23 is 159, 162, which means that C has to be 18 degrees. And story checks out. Smallest degree, smallest side. Biggest degree, biggest side. Second biggest side. So that's the law of sine and the law of cosines. When you're given all three sides, you have to use the law of cosines. That's a given. Oh, and make sure you solve for the biggest angle first to provide, make sure that you don't get the ambiguous case, as it were. Other than that, I hope that was helpful. Have a good day for now. Goodbye.